welcome to the light. Today, I'll be talking about 5 pals for mid-game. This is a simple review of what I've learned and what I consider to be mid-game. With that out of the way, let's get started. So I learned from a recent collab that I had that I had forgotten that you can't go to sleep in multiplayer to skip the night. So as a result, I found us freezing in the middle of the night rather often, and considering it's not always convenient to carry a torch, I forgot about fox sparks. The little fire fox that you can get in the early game. It's cute, not something I really wanted. So I didn't keep it on my team, and I didn't even think to mention it. On to the meat of the dish. The 5 pals that I recommend for mid-game is the wrong title for this video. This video should be called, You Should Breed Your Favorite Pal, because you can put everything you want and all your favorite moves on that one pal, and then come with an auxiliary pal. However, that's too long of a title, and there's little to no experience exchange in that. Without further ado, here we go. First off, the first pal I'd like to recommend is Chillit. Now, not only is this the most adorable pal I've ever seen, this pal modifies your damage, which is wonderful. Especially early on, you can get when you want every single bit of damage you can get. How it modifies it, the Chillit, is that it applies dragon damage to your attack. And from what I can see, it's a bit of a percentage base. So the more damage you do raw, the more damage you get out of it. So essentially, early on, it really, really rewards you. Even up to what I would argue to be mid-game or late game. That's why I have a Chillit level 39 and not 47, because at some point in time I discovered that Fellbat was a much better one. This one was a bit of an accident, kind of an accidental discovery. I got Fellbat and it had both Ferocious and Musclehead. I ended up having to breed in the Lucky. Those 3 together give me this much attack, which even mid-game is phenomenal. Shoot, I can even probably use that even in the late game. I don't know, I haven't tried taking it a legendary. I have no interest in doing so right now. One of the reasons why it's so difficult to give you a list of things I recommend is because you can teach every single move to every single pal. And look at this long list. The HP absorption effect is honestly what gives this guy so much of my recommendation. This guy not only makes them last longer, it makes you last longer as a team, which means you can do the long drawn out battles in the end of the dungeons with a lot more ease. Now that we've covered one of my favorites, let's move on to the next one, Catress. This early game one is really, really, really nice. Early game. Until you realize that Fellbat is the exact same damage type with the HP leech. The Grimoire Collector buff is useful in getting stuff off of those annoying humans who keep attacking you and are everywhere attacking pals because they're technically a pal. At least that's how it used to be at the point of making this video. I would like to say I recognize things change. The next one I'd like to talk about, number 4, is Liline. This one's amazing. Let me just say that right out. This one's amazing. And for one reason only. The Harvest Goddess heals you for 1000 HP, which early game is a struggle. Late game, as you can see, not so much, but mostly because of things like this that literally give me 1000 health. I mean, we have what? Almost 1600 right here? With these two together, puts you at 1300, which isn't a lot of health, if I'm going to be frank. I get bodied by a lot of stuff. So now we come to the difficult part, the really difficult, the one that's been giving me trouble. Number 5. I'll be frank, I highly recommend you go with a utility that you like, in particular, a flying utility that you enjoy. I started with Van Worm, and when you do a flying mount, everything opens up. You can go anywhere, regardless of distance or height, provided, you've got the stamina for it, or the flight duration, however you wish to phrase it. At some point in time, mid-game, early mid-game, you get attacked by furious herds of pals, and one of them is a chance to be nothing but flying. And ironically enough, when they attack your base, they still behave exactly the same way you'd expect them to. And that is to say, they walk up to your base and they just kind of sit on the barrier that you have set up. So if you have, say, a cliffside, they'll just stand there at it and look at you, making them really easy marks. If you build your base in the first place I recommend, then they'll sit there at those stairs. Please see my other videos for what I'm talking about there. I originally went with Van Worm, like I said, and then as I got attacked with pals, a rare one popped up called Beacon. At the time I thought was gold, turns out it wasn't so much gold. Now as I was journeying around, I got Ragnahawk. Ragnahawk easily became one of my favorite pals. Ragnahawk came with one addition, and that's it, 30% increased movement speed. And in case I forget to mention this, it also applies fire damage to your attacks. So you can sit there way out of range of attacks and fire at the enemy because your bullets and or arrows travel a lot farther than attacks do. Just FYI. However, as they move around, it gets to be kind of a pain to aim, and so I highly recommend you just go to ground level and do what you gotta do. Things I wish they do are take Chillet and give you some sort of item that would allow this thing to go chibi, so it can sit on your shoulder and shoot little ice things at the enemy, kind of like a turret. Be really cool. But aside from that, and aside from the difficulties of breeding and or condensing, it's not difficult to figure out which ones you can breed and which ones you can't. Paldex.io does the work for you. What is difficult is determining your play style. Are you an upfront fighter? There are pals that'll modify your attack for that. If you are a long distance fighter, there are pals for that. One of my favorite things about mounts at the making of this video is that when you're mounted, it takes HP. When you're mounted and the enemy attacks you, the HP that is drained first, most of the time, is your mount. And then it goes to you. So that effectively, you can have a significantly larger HP bar while also having increased attack. In addition to your attacks, you can fire off your mount's attacks. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a beautiful day.